Welcome to your 2025 career horoscopes. More than any other year, 2025 is full of transition and transformations as Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune switch signs and join Pluto. In this video, I will take a look at all 12 signs and share secrets on how to make 2025 your most successful year yet. Let's dive in. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work, please show your support by leaving me a like, a comment, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell. Watch more of my content. I have videos dedicated to love in 2025. Might be as interesting for you as a career horoscope. Or you can also say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, or any small token of appreciation. I am really thankful for that. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you will enjoy my content. Before we dive in, if you're looking for guidance, you have questions that you'd like a one-on-one consultation for, you can book it on my website at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I am currently running a promo. You can save on your year ahead reading. You can save $20 on the in-person consultation or $40 off the recorded reading. And the recorded reading is in the shop section of my website. The information and the coupon codes are down below. Additionally, on my website, in the shop, you can find all the products I create. My 2025 planner is a perfect tool to maximize your year to come. It contains over 200 pages filled with insights about lunar phases, transits, full moon, new moons, lots of journaling pages, even positive dates for love, more challenging dates, and lucky dates. Get it on my website. It takes a couple of weeks to ship, so you don't want to wait. Don't wait too long. Additionally, I work with astrology in a proactive way, capturing positive transits to help myself and help you guys maximize the energies that are present so that you can use them when we're dealing with more difficult transits. Specifically, we are currently in the Mars retrograde period, so you may feel a lot of irritation, frustration, but struggle expressing it because Mars retrograde tends to feel like there is a lot of things boiling within you, but you either suppress it or you blow up. So I highly recommend my Exalted Mars candle. This one captures Mars in Capricorn. Very strategic, very ambitious and successful and productive. It can help you find confidence, perseverance, and success. Finish any projects that you started, start projects, exercise, get to your fitness goals. It's also helpful for sexual energy. Really great, especially if you're born with Mars retrograde or you're born with Mars in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses. Less so the 6th, definitely 8th or 12th. If your natal Mars is in Cancer, Taurus, or Libra, signs of fall and detriment. And if you have Mars conjunct square or opposite Saturn. I definitely fit a couple of those categories, so I love this candle. Check it out. And if you're looking for good luck in general and sort of abundance and better finances, Jupiter in Taurus is the candle for you because this one captures Jupiter, co-present with Venus, perfect for creating abundance, also instigating optimism and manifesting your dreams. So these are the two candles I'd like to highlight. Thank you for listening. So we're going to talk about 2025 through the lens of career, and specifically I am going to focus on the planets, on our big planets changing signs. So we have Saturn and Neptune dipping into Aries, we have Uranus entering Gemini for a few months, and Pluto spends a full year in Aquarius. So those will be important. Saturn is always the planet to look for because it relates to legacy, hard work, commitment, your determination, your will to succeed. It represents, because it moves so slowly, it represents the sector of the chart where you're more likely to dedicate a lot of energy to a project, maybe even something that takes you a couple of years to accomplish. Jupiter is the planet of growth, right? Jupiter directs your excitement, your passion, your wisdom towards something. So we want to pay attention to Jupiter. Jupiter is currently in the sign of its detriment until about the middle of the year. So that's why I'm also recommending Jupiter and Taurus candle, because this one captures Jupiter in a more powerful position. So Jupiter is in detriment until June 9th, which suggests that we're maybe feeling a little bit unfocused because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, the sign opposite Gemini. And in Sagittarius, Jupiter is very focused. It has strong morals, strong opinions, strong ideas, and it's sort of easier to figure out the goal and mission and follow it. Versus in Gemini, we may tend to nitpick and overthink and analyze and maybe focus on the facts and the data over the big idea and maybe find ways to stop ourselves instead of going full speed ahead. Uranus is entering Gemini next year for 4 months, which is part of your chart where you're going to become the most independent. It's worth looking at professionally as well. And then we're going to look at some other, 10th house transits, maybe first house transits. I think every single zodiac sign has something to look forward to, but my top 4 zodiac signs with biggest career developments in 2024 are Gemini, Cancer, Virgo, and Libra. You guys have the most fun, exciting things. But every single, many zodiac signs will have some kind of energy passing through their career sector. And even Saturn is always worth talking about. So I'm going to take a look at the 12 zodiac signs. If you know your rising sign, prioritize that. If you don't know your rising sign, you can listen for your sun or your moon signs, or you can listen to them all and see which one resonates with you the most. So if you are an Aries rising, I'm calling this the year you become Saturn. And that is primarily because Saturn enters your first house for a few months, introducing new themes for you. First of all, at the start of the year, Mars, your chart ruler, is retrograde. And it is retrograde from Leo into Cancer. It's retrograding from your 5th house of pleasure into your 4th house of home and family, comfort and security, which suggests that in the beginning of the year, you're questioning things. You're maybe feeling a little bit uncertain professionally, personally. And if we are thinking even about personal uncertainty, because the retrograde is touching your houses of parenthood and home, family, your living situation, sometimes those are very much directly connected to your career, because if you're thinking of moving, you're more likely to switch jobs or have to adjust your professional situation. So for some reason, early in the year, we're dealing with a lot of adjustments. There is a new moon in Capricorn right at the end of the year. It has sort of this supportive energy of new beginnings. So maybe while you're questioning things, you're also feeling ready for a change. And you're ready to work hard at your goals. You're setting your sights on a new job, a new title, a new business idea, and you're doing a lot of research and perhaps investigating things. You may see those plans come full circle, and you may see sort of better results in the middle of the year when we get the full moon in Capricorn in your 10th house. That could be quite significant for you. The nodes are shifting signs early in the year, and we're going to start having eclipses between your 6th and 12th houses. And what's interesting is North Node is going into Pisces and South Node is going into Virgo for the next year and a half. It begins on January 12th, lasts until July 26, 2026. And so take a look back at 2006, 2007. How has your life changed? What happened in your life, right? Maybe you have moved, maybe you switched jobs, maybe you've experienced some kind of change in your everyday life, in your routine, in your goals and aspirations. What is the overall dynamic here, in my mind, is that you are completing chapters, and that is also indicated by Saturn, the ruler of your house of career, being in Pisces, your 12th house, most of 2025. So there is endings, right? There are endings. You're maybe leaving behind old fears. You're maybe leaving behind an old job. You're maybe leaving behind self-doubt, and you're getting ready to present the world a new you. That's why I'm saying the year when you become Saturn. And do reflect on 2006 and 2007 and let me know if you remember what was happening in your life, because it could be could be a good sort of thing to reminisce on. If you ever, if you're looking for professional help, I really recommend my Exalted Mars candle for you guys, because it's the strong Mars, and with Mars being retrograde early in the year, you may feel sort of aimless and purposeless, or like less than your usual energetic, courageous self, and this could be a perfect remedy. And it's also beautiful red, and it's decorated with garnet stone. But yeah, reflect back on 2006, 2007. I think other than endings, this could also be your opportunity to tie the loose ends, maybe complete projects that you have been working on. If, let's say, you are a writer, maybe it's the time you finish writing your book, you do some editing. If you are planning to be a teacher, maybe it's the time you take some classes and gather more knowledge about what you're planning to teach. The time to get more structured about mental health, spirituality, healing work. Many of you may change career directions to become a healer, to become a more spiritual sort of guide. What's happening with these eclipses too is that there's a big shift going on from you working really hard with South Node in Virgo, and you will see the developments around here with the lunar eclipse in Virgo in March, and then the solar eclipse in Virgo in September. There may be important kind of changes professionally, but you are moving away from grinding and from maybe being in the midst of things and managing the little details, or doing a lot of work that feels like cleaning and organizing, and you're actually moving more in the direction of spirituality, mental health, and healing. So it could be like someone who used to be a doctor, right? Like literally working, tinkering with the body, becoming a therapist or becoming a soul guide, right? Something like a big change is happening in your life. And we also get the final solar eclipse in Aries in March, on March 29th, which is a completion of a major chapter of personal growth that started in April 2023 when we had the first eclipse in Aries. So a lot of new beginnings that come out of that, like need to heal yourself, release the need for perfection, the need to work really hard, and opening yourself up to new possibilities. And of course, the big deal is that Neptune and Saturn both go into Aries. So they both go into your first house, especially important if you have planets or if your ascendant is between 0 and 2 degrees Aries, you will feel it the most. But Neptune enters from March 30th until October 22nd, and Saturn from May 24th until September 1st. So Saturn in the first house, Neptune in the first house. Neptune in the first is very much the energy of a healer. It's a sign that your intuition is increasing, your creativity is increasing, your imagination is increasing. On the negative, you may be dealing with some confusing health issues or a tendency to escape, lower energy, so beware of that. And Saturn coming in at the same time, I think it will force you to take ownership of your skills. It will force you to learn to take better care of your time. It might be like, pay attention to that period from late May into early September, because you may notice that you're busier, with all of these professional changes. Let's say you decide to become a healer and you do a lot of sort of volunteer work, or you study a lot. Switching jobs may require learning a lot. Feeling like there's a lot on your plate, right? Limitations on your time, limitations on your health, limitations on your energy. Saturn in the first house rules your 10th, so it's also a sign that you may be doing work that is very personal to you and really important to you, the work that is also connected to your body. I can see Saturn coming into your first house and you realize that you have a health issue, you overcome that health issue, and you decide to teach people how to deal with that health issue. Because it's like Saturn and Neptune, right? It's a very serious energy about spiritual goals. Jupiter is in your third house from May 25th, 2024 until June 9th, 2025, which represents still sort of that energy of learning, more communication, more opportunities to start a business, work that maybe requires you to connect with the community, and even, you know, collaborate with siblings and neighbors. And then from June 9th, 2025, for a year, it enters your 4th house. And that is a sign of, like, it's interesting, right? Because it might also be a sign that you're going in the direction of working from home, or you're starting to work in the realm of like family business or real estate. That could be quite supportive, especially if you're already in that field. And it's also a great transit for buying a home, so if you're thinking about it. And then, of course, with Uranus entering Gemini, your 3rd house from July 7th until November 7th, this is great because Uranus has been in your 2nd house of money from 2018-19, and your finances could have experienced a lot of upheavals, a lot of ups and downs, shakiness, money coming, money going, not knowing what's going to happen. So Uranus leaves your 2nd house this year for 4 months, but the next year in April for good. And you may notice more stability in your income. But then as it goes into your 3rd house, you become more attracted to, once again, unique ideas, being truly yourself, speaking about things that matter to you, writing, being that Promethean figure in the realm of community, with Pluto also being in your 11th house all year, the first year where Pluto is in Aquarius the whole year. You are very much going towards community, you're connecting with other people, you're breaking away from expectations others place on you, and getting ready to express yourself in this like unique, free way. If you're looking for more guidance, please book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do natal, relationship, and predictive readings. In fact, my year ahead readings are currently discounted. Information is in the description. And please share how this resonates. I hope you're looking forward to this year coming up. If you are the lovely Taurus rising, Pluto is staying in Aquarius all year. It has ingressed permanently, and it makes it all the way up to 3 degrees. So if you are a Taurus rising between 1 and 3 degrees, if you have your midheaven between 1 and 3 degrees Aquarius, or any important placements between 1 and 3 degrees Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, this is a really important period for you, right? Pluto introduces a 20-year-long cycle of professional change and empowerment. Not a big deal, right? Just like a little bit of like 20 years. So it is encouraging you to face shadows, to acknowledge your fears and reservations, as well as your desire for power. Chances are with this placement, you do want to be influential. And so gradually, Pluto will encourage you to kind of speak up and stand up and find that power, right? It might be power behind the throne where you have influence, but you're not necessarily in the spotlight because Pluto has a complicated relationship with the spotlight. But you will experience like a very strong desire to either grow in an existing career or connect with your true ambitions and pursue a different career. On the way, you may deal with some of your dirty laundry being aired, or you may deal with bureaucracy, you may deal with bosses and people in power supposedly sort of stifling your growth. And I think if they do, that is once again an opportunity to push past it and find ways in which you can express yourself. Pay attention to the new moon in Aquarius on January 29th, because that might introduce new opportunities. And then the full moon in Aquarius on August 9th might bring those opportunities full circle. So Saturn, the ruler of your 10th house, is in your 11th most of the year. And that suggests that you are working with other people. Your goals, your professional goals are currently involving community, but maybe it's not always easy as you're dealing with negotiating, collaborating, like taking ownership, taking responsibility of the community somehow. Saturn in the 10th might like encourage mastery, achievement, success that involves like networking and social media and group type of relationships. Dreams that require you being more involved with others, teaching, mentoring, becoming a social media influencer, starting a nonprofit organization, helping people that are like you. So if you are an actor who's influential, for example, you use your influence to help those actors that are just starting out. And of course, Saturn might suggest that it's not like always easy, right? It might bring roadblocks and delays and sort of frustrations your way. But if you persevere, if you stick to Saturnian lessons, then you're more likely to find success. Saturn enters Aries between May 24th and September 1st. And Neptune is also there around that same time. And that is a sign that a big part of your life, something in your life, even most likely professionally, because Saturn rules the house of career, and we're talking about career here, something is reaching completion. 12th house is the final house. And so this could be fulfillment of a dream, right? Completion of a big professional chapter. Of course, this is only an introduction of a longer 2.5-year transit of Saturn in Aries. So pay attention to May 24th into September 1st to see what kind of lessons Saturn might be teaching you. Because it will be an opportunity to close old chapters, let go of fears, maybe commit to your love for astrology, healing work, therapeutic work, yoga, meditation. Saturn in the 12th might encourage you to pursue work that is spiritual, imaginative, or at the very least healing for your soul, like work that is more authentically aligned with you. What's interesting also is this year we have nodes switching signs, and eclipses will start happening in Pisces, your 11th house, and Virgo, your 5th house. And so North Node in the 11th also suggests it brings even more, I think, energy towards your dreams, new dreams, working with other people, dreams that involve your friendships, that involve maybe even help of your siblings, that involve community, giving back, creating sort of safe heaven type situations for people, helping people. And so you will notice a lot more of that happening throughout the year. Your second house is very busy. Jupiter is in your second house of money until June 9th, 2025, which can bring opportunities for investment, a raise, new resources, new ideas, new ways in which to make money. There is a little bit of delay, and there is a little bit of a need to contend with whether other people are helping you, because Jupiter in the second is squaring Saturn in the 11th. What is exciting is also that Uranus will start to enter Gemini, your second house. This year we get the 4 month of it from July 7th until November 7th. But this is fascinating, right? What has Jupiter been doing in your second house from May 25th, 2024? Have you noticed coming up with new ideas, new streams of revenue, new business kind of projects? Please share with me, because Uranus comes in and it takes that to the next level, right? It takes it far and beyond, and it's going to be harmoniously connecting with Pluto in your 10th house. So opportunities to make money in unique ways that are unlike anything else, breaking away from outdated beliefs, outdated values, right? If you've been prioritizing, let's say, having a lot of money, you may start prioritizing having better friends or having more influence or doing work that is more powerful. With Pluto and Uranus energy, using technology, using AI, using science and green energy to make money, exploring sort of new technologies like computers, internet, metaphysics. You're likely to be more willing to take risks with your finances. You will notice that your finances might be going through more ups and downs. There might be unique, fast opportunities to make money, but also maybe sometimes a need to be more careful. So Definitely tap into that inventive, progressive, future-oriented energy and take risks because they're more likely to pay off. And then from June 9th, 2025, for a full year, we get Jupiter in your third house. This is an exalted, powerful Jupiter. It will bring business opportunities, especially maybe opportunities still sort of to nurture community, to work with your community, to collaborate with siblings professionally or personally, to study, write, blog, learn new things, teach new things, get more involved with, I keep saying community, but that's what the year's theme is like. I think it's all about finding your community. I'm going to write it down for myself so I remember. But yeah, Jupiter in the third house is very beneficial for connecting with others and getting help from other people. And the fact that it's exalted is even more beneficial, right? You're thinking positively, you're able to attract things, you're more aligned with people you work with if you're working as part of the team, and there is like more opportunities coming your way. So definitely enjoy it. And if you're looking for more guidance, you want to know what's happening in your chart specifically, book a reading with me. My year ahead reading is currently discounted. You can save $20 on the in-person consultation or $40 on the year ahead reading. For the amazing Gemini rising, I'm titling this horoscope Awakening to the New You. And of course, the big deal is that Jupiter has been in your first house since May 2024, stays there until June 2025. Forgive me. And so Jupiter in the first house could have inspired you to, and Jupiter rules your house of career, right? So there is a lot kind of going on. But it's the beginning of a new cycle. It's the time in which you're envisioning new dreams, you're feeling more optimistic, you're maybe dealing with two possible paths, one creative, one more pragmatic or grounded, scientific energy. One thing is for sure, though, you're feeling more excited and hopeful about the future. And so your vision can actually bring more positivity. There is a little bit of challenge from Jupiter being in detriment. And Jupiter squaring Saturn, you may have noticed it in August and December 2024. So at the same time as Jupiter is here, you're having to deal with Saturn in the 10th house, and maybe there are heavier obligations. Maybe there are some delays, restrictions to your goals, or like you have a dream to start a side business, but your current job is so demanding and so uncertain, so it's really hard to direct your energy towards your passion projects. This will start to shift in 2025. I am really excited for you guys because you have Uranus entering your first house in 2025. We get a preview from July 7th until November 7th. And this brings major changes to your outlook on life. You become Uranus, you become Prometheus, you become this character that brings light to the world. Add to the mix the fact that also Pluto has entered your 9th house, and for 20 years Pluto is in Aquarius, right? You are drawn to teach, you are drawn to learn, you are drawn to religion and philosophy and to sharing your opinions with other people. You are more attracted to using technology, AI, science, and more willing to bring kind of knowledge to people. And so Uranus is in your first house. Pay attention to what happens between July 7th and November 7th. Encourages you to get in touch with those true desires and be more detached from what other people think, to break away from convention, to take personal risks, to awaken other people. I'm like, you guys, Gemini risings, you go. But it is pretty awesome because it can bring a lot more inspiration. It can bring a lot more almost like spontaneity and new ideas and quirkiness and sort of progressive ideas and opportunities to start business or start an app, something that hasn't been done before, because you're just like feeling the need for change and you're being in the right place in the right time. Jupiter enters your second house of money, which is very fertile, abundant, and financially beneficial. It will be there from June 9th, 2025 until June 30th, 2026. A lot of gains. Take a look back at 12 years ago, right? From 2013, 2014. What was your finances like back then? Because Jupiter in the second house can bring powerful opportunities to get a raise, to invest, to make more financial improvements, to sort of, feel more safe and secure. It could suggest that you're also likely spending more, but chances are, because you have a bigger influx of money, you know how to invest it. So listen to Uranus, listen to this kind of desire for change and transformation and desire to take risks, invest into, invest or talk about AI, technology, green energy, science, aliens, future, all of the like Uranian out there, astrology, right? Crystals, anything that is sort of exciting to you. But watch out for sort of alienating people and pushing people aside, because you're so driven by your desire to like pursue new things. It's good to be independent, but make sure you're not like hurting people in the process. So you're still, like I said, you're still contending with Saturn in your 10th house until May 24th, 2025, and then again from September until February 2026. And so those months can bring, there's still kind of restrictions, authority figures that you're dealing with. There's maybe a little bit of a slower progress, a little bit more fears and uncertainty, but you're working towards this progress, right? You're working towards change. I think just looking at the fact that Uranus goes into Gemini from July into November, there is maybe a little bit more frustration early in the year, especially with Mars also retrograding. But be ready, be patient and keep persevering. Another major shift that brings even more spotlight to your house of career is North Node entering Pisces and South Node entering Virgo between January 12th, 2025 and July 26th, 2026. So the focus is on your career. There's going to be like spotlight, gains professionally. You are letting go of Virgo need for perfection. You're letting go of, sort of self-doubt, and you're taking leaps. And you're taking leaps in the creative direction, most likely. Becoming a healer, becoming a guide for other people, helping them see and reach their own potential. Becoming a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, right? Some kind of influential figure. We get a new moon in Pisces on February 27th, and then we get a lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th. What was happening in your career and your personal life? Well, have you noticed anything already starting in September 2024? We had the first lunar eclipse in Pisces then. And then going in even further back in 2006, 2007, we would have had the same eclipse cycle. So what was happening in your life? Have you noticed any important changes, release of self-doubt? Maybe you moved, maybe something transformed in the home and family, and perhaps you've experienced some kind of gains in the career sector. Neptune enters Aries, and Saturn enters Aries for a little bit next year. Saturn goes in from May 24th until September 1st. And so this brings a need to, and like, your focus goes towards community. Your focus goes towards working with other people, helping other people, making change in the world, right? And so in the process, you may tune fine-tune your connections. You may connect with new people. You may feel this strong sense of social responsibility and you help people in your community. You start volunteering. You become a member of the board or the president of the board. You're professionally, once again, your goals become directed towards helping other people and improving the lives of other people. On the way, right, you may feel a lot of enthusiasm because it's Saturn in Aries, but watch out for sort of like forcing things or taking on too much or expecting too much too fast, because it's still Saturn in the 11th house. It might still suggest that there are delays and hard work required. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. My year ahead horoscopes are currently discounted. You can also get a natal chart reading or relationship reading. Information is down there. And pick up my 2025 astrology planner. Look how pretty. And it takes about 2 weeks to ship and get delivered. So order yours now. If you are a Cancer rising, this is truly a big year for your career. We get the final eclipse in Aries in your 10th house, and Saturn and Neptune both entering your professional house, 10th house. So in the beginning of the year, you're going through a bit of a revision and review. Mars is retrograde from December 6th until February 23rd, 2025. And it's moving from your second house of money and values to your first house of identity. So you may be rethinking your priorities, rethinking what's worth your time, rethinking what's worth investing into, figuring out a financial strategy, wondering what will give you the most bang for the buck, right? What will help you make the most, and how you can best use your gifts to perhaps make the most money, right? There could also be just certain like health matters that you're navigating, or a lot of responsibilities. So it feels like early in the year there's like a lot to do. And even a little bit later, between March and April, we're going to have Venus going retrograde. So you will be dealing with kind of important questions around that time. And Venus will be retrograding from your 10th house of career at the same time as Mercury is retrograding into your 9th house of education. At the same time, we're also going to have that final eclipse in your 10th house. So March is a big month professionally, I think, because those retrogrades first, they begin, like the Venus retrograde begins on March 1st, and you are starting to ask questions around professional development, around whether you feel appreciated, happy, satisfied. And because Venus is moving backwards, and so does Mercury into the 9th house, there might be big questions around education, like becoming a teacher, publishing your work, presenting new projects, needing to put some finishing touches on the work that you already have in progress, right? It feels like there is some kind of serious development happening around this time, and maybe adjustment. And so the final solar eclipse in Aries at the end of the month, it coincides once again with both Venus and Mercury retrograde. And so on one hand, it brings a completion of the professional chapter that got started in April 2023 with the first eclipse in Aries. What has changed in your career since then? And then on the other hand, because of the retrogrades, it also feels like you're pulling back an old idea, and maybe a new career development comes out of old ideas, right? Old sort of feelings and thoughts and old projects. And with Saturn also being in your 9th house, right? Most of the year, Saturn is in your 9th. It has been in your 9th since March 2023. We're going to have eclipses. North Node is shifting into your 9th house. South Node is going into your 3rd. So a lot of attention is being drawn to your house of travel, education, writing, publishing, and legal matters. And so with Saturn being here for a while, chances are you've already been feeling like there's a lot of pressure to graduate or to move, to complete some kind of writing project. And so North Node comes in and South Node going into Virgo, and it brings even more attention to that. With South Node in Virgo, and we're going to have a lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th, and then a solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st, you are inspired to let go of perfectionism. You are encouraged to let go of old beliefs, of maybe like a need to be nitpicky, a need to be kind of trying to figure everything out, deal with analysis paralysis, say goodbye to all of that and be ready to just sort of take that leap. The North Node in the 9th house, we're going to have another lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th. The first one happened on September 17th. It is encouraging you to do those things. It is saying, okay, you can't find a publisher, then self-publish. You can't figure out you can't find someone to sponsor you. Like, how about you sponsor yourself for something? I don't know. Like there's North Node in Pisces will encourage you to be more creative. It will encourage you to dream bigger and to take action. So in the next couple of years, it will be in Pisces from January 2025 until July 2026. Many of you may move. You may go back to school, you may graduate, you may finish the work that you've been working on, or publish something, right? Present something to the world. Take a look back at 2006, 2007, and please share if you remember what was happening in your life around that time, if you're old enough, of course. But this North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo cycle is basically the repeat of the 2006, 2007. So similar things might be happening, similar areas of your life will be activated. So with Saturn most of the year in Pisces, you're continuing to move slowly and steadily towards your goals that involve education, travel, teaching, writing, publishing. But you may deal with some kind of restrictions. It may be a little bit of a slow progress. You're working on your dissertation, but you get a lot of notes. You're planning to move, but you're dealing with legalities of things, or it takes a while to sell your home. You're studying, but then you realize there is this credit that you forgot to take. But the good news is there is a bit of a shift going on. Even in March 30th, Neptune enters Aries for a few months. It's going to stay until October 22nd. And then on May 24th until September 1st, from May 24th until September 1st, Saturn will be in Aries, your 10th house. So it's interesting because Neptune comes in first, right? And Neptune comes in fresh off the heels of that eclipse that we get on March 29th, and you are perhaps feeling restless and energetic, and you are clarifying your goals, bringing something from the past back into your life, and then Neptune goes into the 10th. And you feel like dreamy, you feel maybe more inspired, but also potentially a little bit more confused. And then Saturn comes in on May 24th, and it gives you the power needed to find clarity. Saturn will only be in Aries for like a few months this time around, right? May 24th, September 1st. But it will encourage you to work through confusion that Neptune might bring. It will encourage you to commit to work that is, together with Neptune especially, work that is healing, that is empowering, that is altruistic and generous with other people, because that's what Neptune ultimately wants. Becoming, like a yoga teacher, a meditation instructor, a fitness trainer, I can see here, because it's Aries after all, a business owner. Be careful just be aware that Saturn in Aries is in its fall, so there might be a sense of like urgency, but without, like, you don't want to be like too pushy. You don't want to try and accomplish things without having all the ducks in a row. Jupiter is in your 12th house from May 25th, 2024 until June 9th, 2025. Also suggests that you're completing cycles, you're completing chapters. Uranus will tap into this house, dip into this house from July 7th until November 7th. And so it's interesting because Uranus will be shining light on your spiritual sector, on your self-doubt. It can help you liberate yourself from old beliefs, from old places, from old people. And then Jupiter goes into your first house from June 9th, 2025 until June 30, 2026. And it will be Jupiter in the sign of exaltation in your first house. What was happening in your life 12 years ago, from 2013, from mid-2013 until mid-2014? Jupiter in the first is a blessing. It's positive energy, it's optimism, a bit of a tendency to overindulge, so watch out for overdoing it, overeating. But it's the start of a new chapter. It's an opportunity to become a teacher, to become a mentor, a healer, a guide. You're looking for meaning, for purpose and wisdom. You will find a lot of kind of happiness from investing in yourself, learning new things, and then giving it back. My first astrology teacher is a Cancer rising with Jupiter in Cancer, and he teaches astrology. So growing through teaching, education, even becoming like a doula, or sometimes in some cases the lawyer, if it's like family law, protecting weak and vulnerable, advocating for people in need, all of that is ahead for you. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. My year ahead readings are currently discounted. You can save $20 on the in-person reading or $40 on the recorded one, and pick up my 2025 planner. Highly, highly recommend this for you. And my almond moon candle is also really good. Moon in Cancer too has been sold out, unfortunately, but almond moon has a similar energy. If you are a Leo rising, in the beginning of the year, Mars is retrograding from your first house into the 12th house. And you are going through a little bit of like maybe an identity crisis. Maybe you're looking back at the projects you once pursued and having to sort through it. You're maybe dealing with some kind of tension between you and your partner, but like early in the year, it feels like you are preoccupied, or things are maybe a little bit difficult. And with Saturn being in your 8th house simultaneously, it's in the 8th house most of the year. It has been in your 8th house since March 7th, 2023. You are addressing, you are kind of dealing with karmic debts and dependencies on other people. You're maybe actually paying off debts, trying to clear your financial karma or your physical karma. And so like Mars being retrograde at the same time, especially when it's in Cancer in your 12th house from January 6th until February 23rd, it feels like you're having to free yourself from something, right? And it's not like necessarily a new thing, right? You've been dealing with Saturn since March 2023. But there is an opportunity to take on more financial responsibility, to learn to rely on yourself, to maybe figure out a better financial strategy. And for some, it might require switching jobs. For others, maybe it requires getting a loan or paying off a debt, paying off a loan. It's interesting that the nodes are shifting signs, with North Node entering Pisces and South Node Virgo in January 2025. And for the next couple of years, we're going to have eclipses in Virgo and Pisces. And with South Node in Virgo, your second house, you're almost like your personal finances are getting like drained. Don't get scared. That doesn't mean like you have no money. But there is a shift going on between your independence, and with North Node in Pisces, it almost calls you to learn to rely on others. So it could suggest that you're maybe working in tandem with someone and you're allowing someone else influence and control over the project. You're letting go of the need to control everything. You're learning to work with other people, right? It could suggest that you're making a big investment. North Node in the 8th house for the next year and a half might suggest that you're getting a student loan, or you're getting an inheritance, or you're depending on your partner for some, financial situation. take a look back at what was happening in your life in 2006 and 2007 in terms of finances, in terms of values, in terms of working with other people, because this North Node eclipse energy is quite similar to that. But I think it's your opportunity to figure out which patterns, which values, which financial strategies are healthy and which ones are not, which relationships are healthy and which ones are not. Let's say you are in like a professional partnership with someone and you don't feel happy, but you feel obligated. So Saturn and eclipses in the 8th and the 2nd might encourage you to separate from that and release any kind of like unhealthy obligations. There's a new moon in your house of career in Taurus on April 27th, which suggests that there might be new beginnings and important developments happening in your professional life in April and May. Maybe a new job, maybe a raise, maybe a promotion. I highly recommend my Jupiter in Taurus candle for you guys because it highlights your 10th house of career and can bring even more blessings and opportunities there. Between June 6th and July 4th, Venus is in your 10th house of career, so it's a great time to ask for a raise. It's a great time to even like pursue projects that are creative and fun. You have like better relationships with bosses at this time, so it could be great to connect with people and ask for help. And then the full moon in November in Taurus brings completion of the chapter that got started in late April with the new moon in Taurus. So another important development that happens is that Neptune on March 30th enters Aries, and Saturn enters Aries and will be there from May 24th until September 1st. So both Neptune and Saturn go in for a few months and then leave, but they do bring a lot of focus to matters of education, travel, writing, publishing, and law, as well as philosophy, religion, faith. And so Saturn always represents where do we need to work hard? Where do we need to commit to things? So with Saturn going into Aries, giving you a taste test of what's to come, you may notice that you are committing to education. You may be going back to school. You may be becoming a teacher. You may be upgrading your qualifications. You may find yourself starting a big writing project, something that will take you a couple of years while Saturn is in Aries. You may notice that there are more travel involving work, so travel becomes more professional versus leisure type travel. You may discover a strong pull to become a religious like influencer. What are they called? A priest. Who's a religious? Who would define a priest? A religious influencer. So you might become a priest, or you might become like a life coach, a guide for other people once again. But be ready with Saturn here that things might be moving a little bit slower. I can see you also opening yourself up to new people and starting partnerships or becoming that source of inspiration and change in the lives of others, with Jupiter being in Gemini, your 11th house, until June 9th, 2025. And then Uranus entering your 11th house this year, only 4 months, but then next year for like 6 years. So Jupiter will be in Gemini from July 7th until November 7th. And you're aligning yourself with quirky people. You're aligning yourself with outsiders. You are expanding your network, connecting with new people, putting your work out there, right? As a teacher, influencer, life coach, mentor, writer. So many possibilities, so much excitement. And then Jupiter also enters Cancer, your 12th house, and the sign of its exaltation on June 9th, 2025 for a full year. Be ready to become extra interested in astrology. It's the time of spiritual awakening. You're more fascinated by hidden things, mysteries, tarot, healing work, spirituality, yoga. You are on some level closing a chapter, so you're maybe healing old wounds, and then on the other, because you're tapping into your spiritual, imaginative, creative interest, you're maybe bringing something into existence, right? both of Jupiter in the 12th and Saturn being in your 9th house at the same time makes me feel that some of you may move, some of you may choose to become healers, right? Some of you might connect with foreigners and maybe become, I don't know, like a yoga teacher in a foreign country or a translator or something like that. So there are important spiritual and social changes that affect your career in the years to come. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. My year ahead readings are currently discounted. You can save $20 on the in-person consultation or $40 on the recorded reading, and pick up the Jupiter in Taurus candle in there. It's a perfect fit and can bring more professional success your way. If you are the lovely Virgo rising, you are in for a major personal rebirth. So we're going to have nodes at the start of the year, pretty much right away. North node enters Pisces, South node enters Virgo. And from January 12th, 2025 until July 26th, 2026, you will be in this period of personal adjustment. It is similar to 2006, 2007. Reflect back on that. Let me know down below if you remember what was happening in your life. Definitely leave a comment down there. But there's a lot happening in your house of relationships, right? Saturn has been in your house of relationships since March 2023, stays there for most of this year. North node brings a lot of focus to your relationships and partnerships. And maybe you're getting married, maybe you're getting divorced, maybe you're starting a business partnership and committing yourself to something, signing an important contract, because North Node draws attention towards it. And we're going to have a few, activations here. September 7th, there's a lunar eclipse here, which would be similar to September 17th, 2024. But a lot of focus is on partnerships. And with Saturn, you're kind of committing to things, right? You're committing to a business, you're committing to a contract, you're learning to be more patient with other people, you're negotiating, you're signing contracts, you're like dealing with authorities. And so South Node brings eclipses. We're going to have South Node eclipses in Virgo in your first house. One in March, there's a lunar eclipse, a completion of something. And then in August and September, we're going to have two new moons, one of which will be a solar eclipse in Virgo, your first house. And so there is a big shift around your identity. An old version of you is dying, right? Maybe considering that you're working a lot in partnership or you're going through a commitment, maybe you were used to having full control over the decisions in your home or full control over the decisions at work. And now you're having to deal with other people. You're having to adapt, adjust, connect, collaborate. And so having to let go of some of your independence, having to let go of some of your perfectionism as well. As you're working as you're very focused on partnerships, you may need to be ready to get rid of, some of your like perfectionist tendencies, or even like let go of self-criticism, because sometimes you may notice that you are standing in your own way by expecting yourself to be perfect. So a sense of completion, change, and transformation, and like endings. You may notice that you're becoming more health conscious, because sometimes South Node in the first house makes you more aware of your diet habits, etc. So maybe becoming more sort of health conscious directs you towards health related professional activities. With Pluto being in your sixth house, it went in permanently in November 2024. It stays all the way until 2043. Spends the whole year in your sixth house. You are, on one hand, you're addressing shadows in the work environment and maybe dealing with frustrations, controlling bosses, colleagues that are micromanaging you. And on the other hand, you're becoming very focused on health, service, healing work. So once again, a sense of maybe more focused on health and healing and more developments in that sector of your life, but also getting rid of outdated habits, bad habits, becoming more aware of like what kind of patterns you have that are not serving you. So I think all of that works really, it like kind of makes sense with the South Node in the first house. You may feel more overwhelmed and overloaded, and so changes in your work environment might also be inspired by that, by this sort of serious realization that you need to unload yourself, let go of something. Even choosing to work for yourself is a possibility here. So maybe, the developments in the 7th are more connected to the fact that you're starting a business. And so partnerships you have and partnerships you're working on are partnerships with your clients. So opportunities to find more freedom, I can see here. Saturn enters your 8th house for a few months, and so does Neptune. Saturn goes in from May 24th until September 1st. And this one is interesting because for some people it brings up literal debts. Sort of, you have a student loan you're trying to pay off. But for others, it brings up more kind of dependencies on other people, contracts, agreements with other people that you're trying to free yourself from. So Saturn going into your 8th house can bring professional change, but it can also suggest that you first need to clear out some debt and release some outdated relationships. Let's say you have been teaching with someone and you're ready for new things, but they're not. Like, you're ready to upgrade your software and offer more, but they're not willing to do that. So having to let go of that relationship and navigate it with calmness and peace and kindness is very much a sign here. It might also be the time with Saturn in the 8th where people you're partnering with, including your significant other, are maybe not doing so well financially. And so you have to take on more responsibility and plan out for the future and set some money aside. I see very exciting professional developments in your life. Jupiter is in your 10th house until June 9th. It has been in your 10th house since May last year. Have you already noticed professional growth? More opportunities to teach, to travel, to influence, empower other people? Because that continues. It's not all easy because Jupiter is squaring Saturn in your 7th house. So you are contending with having to rely on other people, having to follow the letter of the contract. But it could already be kind of eye-opening and could be a sign of breakthroughs and new opportunities professionally. And then a major shift of this lifetime is going to happen as Uranus enters Gemini. This year, it's going to be there from July until November 2025, but then in 2026, it will come in to stay for 6 years. So this is your introduction. Uranus comes into your house of career, and you no longer want to follow the rules. You choose freedom, you choose independence. Similarly, it's interesting with Pluto in the 6th, right? Working for other people, working for people who are controlling you will no longer be okay. You may choose to start a business, go off on your own, be more independent. You may choose to bring technology, science, astrology, AI into the mix, discover talents that were maybe sleeping within you, and choose work that is like empowering, futuristic, independent. It's going to be an interesting period of important change. You will have support of people in power, which is quite lovely because Jupiter will be exalted and it's house joy as it enters Cancer on June 9th, and it will stay there for a full year. So this gives you access to support of other people. This means that people in your network are supportive, your work is welcome. It's a great time to start a social media page or double down on your social media presence. It's a great time to, working with others will feel more joyful. You may experience more financial growth, more recognition. And so it's quite exciting, I think, to deal with. But of course, even Jupiter in the 11th house still has to contend with Saturn entering your 8th house and being in the 8th house at the same time. So it's like new opportunities, new growth, but still some karmic debts, some restrictions, some ties that you need to break away from. On May 26, 2025, we have a new moon in Gemini, which is a sign of new beginnings. Venus is in Gemini between July 4th and July 30th. Great time to ask for a promotion, for a raise, ask for a new job, look for a new job. Your bosses will be quite benevolent and generous with you at this time. And then in December 4th, we have the full moon in Gemini. So you may notice if something got started in your career around May, June, in December is when you get the results and receive recognition and rewards. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, your relationship, or your year coming up. Those readings, the last ones, the year coming up, are discounted currently, and you can save $20 only in person or $40 on the year on the recorded ones. So check out my website for that and pick up the 2025 astrology planner. It is awesome and it will make your life so much more easy and fun. For the stunning Libra rising, 2025 brings major professional and personal commitments. Super excited about Jupiter being in Cancer, highlighting your 10th house of career. And we're also going to have some positive eclipse energy as well. So at the start of the year, Mars is retrograding from Leo into Cancer. The retrograde lasts from December 6th until February 23rd. And so early in the year, you may feel a little bit uncertain professionally, let's be honest. It has that confusing energy, and then from March 1st until April 12th, Venus is also retrograding, Mercury will be retrograde, so the first 4 months of the year is a throwaway. I'm kidding, of course not, but there is a bit of a, especially with Mars retrograde, from your house of dreams, hopes and wishes, your social network, and you're back into your house of career. You're maybe questioning your dreams. You may be feeling uncertain about your collaborators. You may be rethinking your career, having to figure out a different brand, a different logo, even relationships professionally, clients, people you signed on, or your social media strategy. All of that is under review. And physically, your energy might be a little low. You may notice that you have less sort of desire to push through with things professionally. Saturn is in your 6th house most of the year. It has entered your 6th house in March 2023, inspiring a lot of focus on work, health, service to other people. Last year, we also had a lot of eclipses in your house of identity, so you may have undergone a shift in terms of what you do, in terms of your health, maybe being more committed to your health, right? So Saturn staying here until, it's pretty much here until February 2026, but we're going to have a break this year when it goes into Aries from May 24th until September 1st. But Saturn continues to, make you work. It creates a lot of pressures. It creates problems you have to overcome. It creates a heavier workload. It encourages you to set better boundaries, to make sure you're not overloading yourself. And it brings a lot more focus to spiritual goals. It's kind of reminds you that your thoughts make your reality. It reminds you to take care of your body. It reminds you to prioritize meditation, to prioritize astrology, yoga. Says that all of that is as important for your health as everything else. And we're gonna start having eclipses in Pisces and Virgo. And North Node is going into Pisces, your 6th house, and South Node is going into Virgo, your 12th house. And we already had the first eclipse in Pisces in September 2024. Take a look back at what was happening in your professional life at that time. For me as a Libra rising, I have gone to Nepal and gotten my yoga teacher training, which was very much like a personal transformation. You've heard me talk about it before, unless you're brand new here. And if you are, please subscribe. So So having North Node in Pisces emphasizes all of that even more. It highlights your need for better balance between your work life and your rest, right? It suggests that you cannot forget about one or the other. It reminds you that your productivity it reminds you that your worth is not dependent on your productivity. It's dependent more on like the inner sense of peace, and it on many levels it tells you that it's okay to rest. Take a look back at 2006, 2007, because that's when we had the same series of eclipses. And you may notice important change in terms of what you do for a living, right? You may notice a bit of a release of a plan, like, Virgo South Node in your 12th house. You're letting go of self-critical attitudes, of perfectionism, of a tendency to overthink. You're maybe even letting go of a place you live in. I moved to the States in 2007, so it was a major, major shift. And I'm curious to hear if you guys remember what was happening in your life. But yeah, letting go of these self-defeating tendencies that are connected to Virgo, defining your worth based on how much work you do, running yourself into the ground, trying to accomplish a lot. And with North Node in Pisces in your 6th house, it is about work. It is about changes to work and maybe becoming a healer, prioritizing health, prioritizing exercise, prioritizing work that serves other people and helps other people. But it is even more so about rest and boundaries and relaxation. So it's going to encourage you to find the self-worth within and also let go of some things. And later in this transit, it can actually bring some important recognition, I think. Between May 24th and September 1st, 2025, we're going to get our first introduction to Saturn in Aries. And at that same time, Neptune is also going to be in Aries. So we have this preview of Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And so because it's the house of relationships, it may affect your partner more than you, but it will definitely affect your partnerships. So Saturn being in the 7th suggests that you're committing yourself to a contract. You're maybe starting to work with a client. You're maybe signing on with an agency or a big company, right? You are starting a business as well. There is some kind of heaviness around agreements. It can be dreamy because of Neptune. It can seem like extra magical, but it can also be confusing and bring a sense of a lack of clarity, because Neptune can sometimes fog things up. F-O-G, fog, make things foggy. You may also notice that you're partnering up with older people, that you're getting more offers to work together with other people, but there is an element of heaviness there, right? Saturn makes it a little heavy, even if it means that you're committing, getting married, or getting married to a business partner. It still feels a little heavy because of all the things that maybe you're giving away. For some, it might bring a divorce. It might bring a divorce, literally from a marriage, but it can also suggest that you're letting go of a business partnership that no longer feels like it is fitting you. Jupiter is in your 9th house, first half of the year until June 9th, and it encourages you to learn new things, maybe upgrade your skills, to travel for work, to find a guru, a guide, a mentor. It is a bit limited by all the work responsibilities you already have with Saturn in the 6th house, but I love Jupiter entering Cancer on June 9th. And it will stay there for a full year. It is the sign of its exaltation. Powerful Jupiter. Do you remember what was happening in your life in 2013 and 14? What was kind of growing at that time? Were you maybe professionally, maybe you connected with people? So you will notice more opportunities, more breakthroughs, more possibilities for manifestation. It's Jupiter in Cancer, right? So it's growing through nurturing your passions, watering the seeds of things you already like doing, working with women, working with family members, investing into gardening or being like a teacher, a mentor, a guide for other people, helping pregnant women, right? Helping elders. It could be quite nice. It is going to square Saturn in the 7th. And so that suggests, I think, that there are new opportunities, but they're somehow restricted by the duties you have to your partnership or by what's happening in the house of relationships. I love this one. I think Jupiter in the 10th is really lovely. And then we also have on June 25th, we have a very fertile, abundant new moon in Cancer. And so even more of a sign of new opportunities. And, it just feels like, I think it feels like you're choosing things that are A, emotionally important to you, but B, also like put you in connection with people that feel like family, like you're working with people who are like family. And then between July 30th and August 25th, Venus will also be in Cancer, which is supportive for your professional growth as well. And Pluto is in Aquarius all year, right? Your 5th house. So it's also pushing you to take control of your interests and passions and express yourself with urgency and determination. Maybe use technology, use AI, use science as you pursue your interests. Please share how this resonates. I'd be curious to hear how 2024 went for you, my fellow Libra risings. And as always, if you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. My year ahead horoscopes are currently discounted. You can save $20 on the in-person consultation of $40 by picking up a recorded reading in the shop section of my website. Highly recommend my Jupiter and Taurus candle and exalted Mars together. They will make you unstoppable. If you are the mysterious Scorpio rising, in the beginning of the year, you are going through a bit of a professional readjustment. Mars is retrograding from your 10th house of career into your 9th house of education, travel, writing, and publishing between December 6, 2024 and February 23rd, 2025. And so this feels like maybe you are not quite sure what path to pursue professionally, or you're dealing with old projects. You're maybe realizing that your career goals require you to get more education, require you to travel and relocate. Maybe you're relocating already and that's affecting your career. With Pluto being in your 4th house too, right? There are important developments in the home, family, starting a family, moving, family members needing you. So your career might be the changes in the career might be very much connected to that. So early in the year, there is a need to kind of look back and also ask yourself what your goals are, what your beliefs are, what your priorities are. Mars will be direct in your house of career between April 18th and June 17th. And so that might be the time when you're having a lot more forward momentum and clarity and speed, and you're like taking action and feeling more accomplished professionally. Most of the year, Saturn is still in your 5th house, and it has been in your 5th house since March 2023. Saturn in the 5th might suggest that there are like heavy duties, heavy responsibilities and duties connected to parenthood. And so maybe you are preoccupied by what's happening in terms of being a parent or in the life of your child. But it also suggests that there is more pressure and more of a need to take responsibility for your creative energy, right? Saturn in the 5th is the time when you need to push yourself, you need to be systematic, you need to be productive because your life is busy, there's a lot going on. You have kids, you have a job, you have a marriage, and how do you still find time to express yourself and pursue your goals? Only by creating a schedule. So Saturn in the 5th house will definitely encourage you to be like patient, more structured. Let's say you have a business or you have a website you're building, so Saturn in the 5th. And please share how has it been, because it's been since March 2023. Will definitely suggest that you're having maybe a little bit less fun with those things, but you're needing to be structured, and the more structured you are, the better the results. We're also going to have North Node entering Pisces and South Node entering Virgo early in the year, and they will stay until the middle of 2026. And so here the eclipses will be happening in Virgo, South Node in Virgo in your 11th house, which suggests that you are letting go of some potential dreams, and you're letting go of your old network, or you're letting go of the need to fit with other people. You're sort of caring less in terms of what people think of you. And with the final solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th in your 6th house, and then with lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th in your 5th house, you are transforming your career and your life to be more joyful and to be more connected to your desires, right? Solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th is the final one. We've had eclipses in Aries since April 2023. It has put you more in touch with your goals and your desires. And now the eclipses happening in Pisces are making you even more aware, right? Like maybe you realize that you want to be a stay-at-home parent, or you realize that you want to be an artist, or you realize that you want to live in Hawaii. And so these dreams that are represented by Pisces, right, are taking center stage, and you're letting go of the negative voice of people in your life that perhaps are telling you that it's not important or you're never going to make it. So there's going to be this important shift. And I think for a while, Saturn has been encouraging you to connect with those dreams and desires and to commit to the projects that you feel are truly important. Neptune and Saturn are both going to start dipping into your 6th house. Neptune goes in on March 30th, leaves in November, and then Saturn goes in from May 24th until September 1st. And so this is interesting. Neptune can bring a sense of inspiration, desire to help people, to give back, but also maybe a sense of confusion around work, poor boundaries, confusing health issues. And then Saturn comes in later, a couple of months later, right? And it makes you get serious. It says that, okay, you're dealing with confusion at work, you're misunderstanding your bosses. Maybe it's time to have better boundaries. Maybe it's time to take better care of your health. Maybe it could be the time when you're feeling like you're just doing a lot, right? Like your child starts walking and you need to run around them because, like, you know, they're sticking their fingers into the outlet or something. You're doing a lot of work and you feel like overlooked potentially professionally too, right? Like you're taking care of all the things and your colleagues maybe bringing you extra work. And so Saturn in the 6th will put pressures and will test your energy, your health, your work, your boundaries, and will ultimately encourage you to get clear on what deserves your attention, what deserves your time, ask for help, and take better care of your health and your work protocols. So it can also be the time when you're committing to being a healer, being a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse. Great way, as someone who still currently has Saturn in my 6th house, a great way to work with Saturn in the 6th is, first of all, start taking care of make sure your work is in order already now, and so is your health. But you might also want to volunteer at like a dog shelter or donate your time to a charity or money or energy to a charity of some sorts. But yeah, be ready that Saturn, it's only like 3 months, right, of Saturn in your 6th house next year, but just be aware that it might bring up a lot of things that you will need to handle. Between May 25th, 2024 and June 9th, 2025, you have Jupiter in your 8th house, which is a sign that maybe your partner is making more money, that it's also a great time to expand, to collaborate with others. You're maybe making more, you're maybe getting more sort of clients reaching out to you. It is Jupiter in detriment. So let's say you may find a new collaborator, but you don't quite like them. Or you are signing a contract, but it has some kind of clause that you don't like. So it's, you know, it's a positive development in terms of like higher commission resources you may be getting, or partners' money, but it does have a bit of like complication to it because of Saturn squaring it from the 5th house, and because Jupiter is in detriment. This energy does improve significantly as Jupiter enters Cancer on June 9th, your 9th house, and it will stay here until June 30th, 2026. I have 2036, wishful thinking. So Jupiter is exalted here, and it comes into your 9th house, and it draws you to move. So you may be moving for work or for leisure. It encourages you to study. So going back to school, expanding your education is quite likely. It's a great time to write or publish, present your work in front of other people. Becoming a teacher for others, a mentor or guide, or connecting with teachers and mentors is also highly lovely here. You may deal with a bit of tension between your desire to grow, your desire to invest in yourself, and even like spend time with family, and the workload that you have as Jupiter squares Saturn in your 6th house. We also have a new moon in Leo on July 24th, and that is the new beginnings in your house of career, status, reputation. And there is Venus in Leo between August 25th and September 19th, and that could be beautiful for creative projects, getting along with bosses, asking for a raise, and pursuing things that bring you a lot of joy. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. My year ahead readings are currently discounted, so you can save $20 on the in-person consultation or $40 on the recorded reading in the shop section of my website, and the details are down below. Highly recommend my Jupiter and Taurus candle for you, and exalted Mars, because you're Mars ruled, and Mars is retrograde for the first 3 months of the year. So Mars could be a really great choice. If you are a Sagittarius rising, there is a lot of action in your house of career this year because the nodes shift sign. North Node enters Pisces on January 12th, 2025, and South Node enters Virgo, and they will stay here until July 26, 2026. So with North Node in Pisces, you will have a lot of focus on home, family, and living situation. And Saturn has already been in Pisces and is in Pisces in your 4th house, drawing a lot of attention to home, family, and living situation. And so as you're focusing a lot on the duties to your family, on your child, on a move that you're going through, chances are your attention on your work will slip away a little bit. So it could be good, but it could be challenging at times, right? Because South Node eclipses in Virgo. There is a lunar eclipse in your 10th house of career on March 14th that brings a change, completion, transformation professionally. It could mean letting go of a job. Let's say you are moving, and so it's the time to find a different job in a different location. It could be the time when you're letting go of perfectionism and maybe, sharing the workload with someone and opening yourself up because you're just so preoccupied with everything that is happening in the home and family. You don't have time to get it 100% right the way you want it to. So it could be a beautiful chance to release some of your analysis paralysis, perfectionism, a need to work sort of yourself to death. And welcome new beginnings. And then we're going to get a new moon in Virgo on August 23rd and a solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st. And with the fact that both of those are South Node eclipses, new moon and an eclipse, it makes me think that besides the fact that you might be letting go of your job, but you might be starting to prioritize working less. Or you might be prioritizing work that is more healing, that is more soulful, instead of work that pays a lot, for example. So there might be an important shift and maybe a lot more focus on imagination, creativity, spirituality, healing type of modalities professionally. Between May 24th and September 1st, 2025, Saturn will be in your 5th house. And for some of you, it could be about being a parent and dealing with a lot of heavy responsibilities connected to parenthood. But for those who are, if you are involved in like a creative field professionally, or your work requires a lot of sort of self-expression and imagination, Saturn going in the 5th house can put a lot of pressure on putting things out. So it could be the time when your creativity goes under scrutiny and you are almost like forced to be creative in a structured way, which could feel limiting. It could feel like there is no fun professionally, but at the same time, this transit will teach you how to be more systematic, how to be more diligent, more persevering. So it could encourage you to work with creative structure, right? And it's an interesting one, because I think with the Virgo South Node, it's both in the 5th house, Saturn, there will be some criticism, there will be some heaviness, and people may be looking down on what you're doing as a creative individual, as an employee, as a parent, but you're also learning how to deal with it and how to work through it, right? Because you don't have to be liked by everyone. Until June 9th, from May 25th, 2024 until June 9th, 2025, Jupiter is in your 7th house. This is your chart ruler in your 7th house, and you are very relationship, partnership oriented. There may be more opportunities to collaborate with others, to start a business, to sign a contract and attract a new client. A partner, your business partner or romantic partner might be doing well, and you're growing sort of through them. Opportunities to move might be coming through them. Opportunities to travel or even like work opportunities might be coming through them. And then from June 9th, 2025 until June 30, 2026, Jupiter will enter Cancer, which is your 8th house and also the sign of Jupiter's exaltation. This is beautiful. I love this one. It could suggest that your commission increases if you work for commission. Could suggest a bonus coming your way, resource, a project, an opportunity from a friend or a colleague or a mentor. Somebody puts you in touch with the person you're looking for, gets you a chance to publish your work. Partners' finances improving as well, and you're benefiting through your partner maybe getting a pay raise as well. But it's a beautiful transit. It can also suggest that you're spending more. Let's say you're expanding your business and you're making more, but then your taxes are higher. So put some money aside. I had that happen to me with Jupiter in the 8th house. So it's definitely something to keep in mind as you are enjoying the benefits of this transit. Pluto spends the whole year in your 3rd house. It permanently ingressed in November 2024, and it stays all the way until 2043, which is a sign that you are working through, once again, some kind of mindset shift, right? With South Node in Virgo, Pluto in the 3rd house. Uranus is also going to enter your house of relationships next year between July 7th and November 7th. You are having to leave fears behind. You have to leave your old way of being behind, right? Something is dying in terms of like your neighborhood. Maybe you're moving, your way of thinking. Maybe you're welcoming, maybe you're entering a relationship and you're opening yourself up to believing that things will work out. Maybe you're getting more passionate about something, and so you're choosing to communicate it to the world through your job, through a blog, through a YouTube channel, committing yourself to sharing and empowering other people. Your speech becomes a lot more intense, right? So So it's a great time to connect with that passion within and find ways to express it in writing, in speech, in blogging, in partnerships. You will, I guess, you will feel more stressed if you don't. For example, if you have a child who has a development issue, right? Pluto going into the third might be the time when you feel drawn and pulled and almost like you have no choice but to share with the world how you're dealing with this, what have you learned. You want to help people, you want to guide them, you want to help them see light in the darkness. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more insight, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. My year ahead consultations are currently discounted, and you can pick one up. And also pick up my Jupiter in Taurus candle for more optimism, abundance, and good luck. You are ruled by Jupiter, so this could be perfect for you. For the charming Capricorn rising, 2024 brought a lot of professional changes with South Node and eclipses in Libra. You may have released your work, moved and changed jobs, or experienced a shift toward more creative, imaginative, less toxic work environment. In 2025, we have Saturn, your chart ruler, in your third house most of the year, except for from May 24th until September 1st. And Saturn in the third house is encouraging you to work through certain mental blocks, right? It could suggest that you are rewiring your brain and maybe dealing with some kind of delays involving your teammates, maybe delays involving writing. You may be kind of feeling a lot more pressure around your mental output. You are required to put out ideas. You're having to learn new things as maybe you're working on your business, but also maybe you're learning new things as your company changes. There changes systems they're using, or they're bringing AI into the mix, and so you find yourself a little bit uncomfortable. And so it can also be the year in which you are learning something and you're committing to something new, but simultaneously you're having to overcome your self-doubt or insecurities or sort of heavy thinking, right? Let's be honest, Capricorn sometimes can be quite serious in terms of the way you view the world. I quite like the fact that North Node is going to enter Pisces and South Node Virgo, and they will stay there from January 2025 until July 2026. So North Node brings attention to your third, South Node brings attention to your ninth. And South Node and Virgo in the ninth suggests that you're like encouraged to complete and release something and cleanse something in the house of your beliefs, in the house of education, and in the house of travel, writing, publishing. So this could be the time that you are, especially the eclipses, the lunar eclipse in Virgo in March, and then the solar eclipse in Virgo in September. There could be a sense that you're encouraged to complete the education, let go of the beliefs, let go of the need for things to be perfect, complete the writing project you've been working on. And with North Node in the third house, and Saturn doing all this work there for the last 2 years, right? Saturn has entered your third house in March 2023. How has it been? Have you felt the heaviness? Have you felt the mental overwhelm, perhaps overload? So it's almost like this shift of like enough learning, enough thinking, enough polishing things, and just do it, right? North Node in Pisces, we have a solar, like lunar eclipse here on September 7th, and we had another lunar eclipse here on September 17th, 2024. You are letting go of the need to, like I said, polish, perfect, think, and study, and you're actually doing things. So North Node will encourage you to dream big and to take action, right? Finish writing that screenplay, make a movie out of it. Stop waiting for other people to approve of you. Take a leap of faith, right? Stop thinking about moving, actually move. Start that business instead of learning about starting a business, right? Commit to your gifts, bring knowledge to the world. So it could be quite empowering, and this is a repeat of the nodal transit we've been dealing with in 2006, 2007. So take a look back and please let me know what was happening in your life around that time. Between May 24th and September 1st, Saturn will enter your 4th house. Neptune also does so on March 30th until November. So this is your preview of 4th house Saturn and Neptune energy, right? This one is interesting because it might emphasize confusion and poor boundaries and some kind of uncertainty, lack of clarity in the house of home, family, and living situation. Because Neptune enters first in late March, there is a sense that you're feeling like maybe there's some, you owe something to your family, but it's not quite spoken. It's a bit hard to figure out. And then Saturn goes in May, and you feel the pressure to figure it out. You feel the pressure to get organized. So a lot of focus connected to home, family, and living situation. And that might be, of course, driving your attention away from your goals and pursuits. So the middle of the year has a bit of that like switch type energy, because we also have Jupiter shifting signs at that time in early June. So yeah, you may notice that relationships and family take more precedent from the middle of the year, from late May until October potentially. Jupiter is in your 6th house from May 25th, 2024 until June 9th, 2025. And Jupiter in the 6th house has been creating a lot more work potentially. Maybe you're more interested in a lot of things, and so you're learning, so you're networking, you're helping people. It has been squaring Saturn in the 3rd, so it may have at times felt a little bit overwhelming. This year, we're also going to have Uranus entering Gemini only for 4 months, but next year it's going to enter for 6 years. So this year it's from July 7th until November 7th. And Uranus in the 6th house is fascinating, right? It's a sign that you are breaking away from anything outdated, anything confining, any routines that feel stagnant and restrictive. And 6th house represents work, sort of hard work, your routines, your structure. So Uranus comes here, and you no longer want to do work according to the manual. You want to do things your own way. You no longer feel appreciative of your bosses telling you what to do. You want to have more freedom. You feel like you want to encourage people to be more authentic, right? Like going towards more unconventional work is more likely here. Becoming your own boss. Healing people, but like with alternative medicine, using AI, using crystals and technology and everything like that will be more interesting for you. So pay attention to July 7th, November 7th, because that's an introduction, and then this will continue developing further later on. Jupiter enters the sign of its exaltation, Cancer, on June 9th, 2025, and will stay until June 30, 2026. This is exciting for relationships, romantic and business alike. Since we are talking about career, let's talk about business relationships. Jupiter in the 7th can bring you the perfect business partner, the perfect contract, the perfect client. It can bring growth in your partner's life and opportunities coming through them. It is a time you're blessed with all kinds of good people coming into your life. Plumbers, doctors, lawyers, consultants, nannies, every sort of one-on-one type of relationship is quite supportive at this time. And let's not forget also that Pluto is in your 2nd house. So with Pluto in the 2nd in Aquarius, with Uranus in Gemini, your 6th house, you are very much going through death and rebirth professionally. You're opening yourself up to work that is more investigative, intuitive, healing, creative, quirky, free, right? So Pluto in the 2nd is encouraging you to take risks, to make investments, to understand the market and make more money. Pay attention also to the full moon in Libra on April 12th. It brings completion in the professional sector. And then there's a new moon in Libra on October 21st. And Venus is also in Libra simultaneously from October 13th and November 6th until November 6th. And that feels like important new beginnings, more joy, more pleasure in the career, a great time to ask for more money, more responsibility, choose projects that you prefer doing, and open yourself up to more fun. And it's also quite exciting because it's like that new moon also forms, I mean, not actually by degree, but it is in an air sign, and so is Pluto, and so is Jupiter. I like that. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. Year ahead readings are currently discounted. And pick up my Exalted Mars candle. This is Mars in Capricorn, and it is perfect for navigating Mars retrograde and also just giving you a boost of energy whenever you need one. For the quirky Aquarius rising, your 10th house of career is Scorpio, and it is ruled by Mars. And in the beginning of the year, actually from December 6, 2024 until February 23rd, 2025, Mars, the ruler of your house of career, is retrograde. It's moving backwards from your 7th into 6th house. And maybe you're having to rethink your agreements, you're negotiating some things, you're addressing problems and solving some matters, right? There might be an old job that you're going to as well, or a present job where you're just having to deal with more roadblocks and trying to figure out a better flow, I think, through work. But like early in the year, there are definitely more likely to be disagreements and tensions with your colleagues, maybe even with your bosses, but just like a sense that there is a lot on your shoulders, and it's not like you cannot handle it, but maybe you don't want to do it on your own. So it could be a great time to ask for help if you feel like you need it. There is a full moon in Scorpio, your 10th house, on May 12th, which can bring professional completion, recognition, rewards, and change. And then the new moon in November, which introduces new beginnings. Venus is also in Scorpio between November 6th and November 30th, so she's supporting this new moon and encouraging you to pursue projects that are joyful and fun. So, important energies of the year, right? Pluto has permanently ingressed into Aquarius on November 19th, and it will stay there until 2043. And so you are going through major inner transformation. It can be inspired by you connecting with your true desires. It can be inspired by you being exposed to some kind of shadows and darkness. Sometimes Pluto, especially, if you have your ascendant in the first 3 degrees of Aquarius, or any planets in the first 3 degrees of Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio, it has already been hitting you. So sometimes Pluto brings challenges our way through other people. It sort of reveals shadows, bureaucracy, makes us see things that are dark in the world and that need to be changed. And so on this large level, on a personal level and like big universal level, Pluto in Aquarius is encouraging us to be more socially minded. And so with it being in your first house, you are becoming the source of change. You're becoming the person who speaks up, who breaks away, like kind of disrupts the status quo for the world to be better. You're reclaiming your power. And this might show up in like a small scale where you are like speaking, telling your boss what you want for the first time, or expressing your opinion for the first time. Or this can also show up on a larger scale when you're realizing that you need to be a spokesperson for a certain disease that you're familiar with, or you need to reveal the bureaucracy to the world. Like, you are encouraged to deal with these like heavy topics and to be Pluto, someone who helps others see. And it's not always going to be easy, of course. Your finances are still a big point of focus this year. Saturn is in Pisces most of the year, except for when it goes into Aries from May 24th until September 1st. Might be a bit of a relief, but We'll see. But you've been, you know, with Saturn in Pisces, you've been dealing with perhaps some kind of financial trouble or financial restriction, or maybe a sense of feeling like you're not quite well compensated. So that will continue on some level with Saturn in Pisces most of the year, but it's getting better because we're closing in on the end of Saturn in Pisces. It fully leaves Pisces in February 2026. But maybe it's the time when you are, you know, you're making a little less because you're working a little less, or you're looking for a job, or you're waiting on some kind of payment, and people who owe you money take a while to pay you back. And of course, Saturn is encouraging you to be your own source of self-worth and your own source of validation, not just base your success on money or the approval of other people. But it could be a sign that you're kind of like working through paying off some debts, or working through a more difficult time in your career, maybe making a little less, but maybe also making a little less because you're paying off a mortgage, right? And it feels like you have less money. It's not, like Saturn in the second house is not like necessarily a sign that you're like have no money. It's just a sign that there are some delays, right? Saturn is always our red light and just like, don't go, wait a little bit type of planet. The nodes will shift sign, with North Node entering Pisces on January 12th, 2025, and South Node Virgo, and both of these, and they will stay in these pair of signs until July 26, 2026. So this is actually pretty exciting, I think, because after Saturn has been in your second house, and please share if you are loving or hating Saturn in the second house. I hope you are loving him because he's worthy of love. But after Saturn has taught you to manage money better, it has taught you to rely on yourself, to validate your own desires, to be your sort of biggest cheerleader, let's say, and have more like stability when it comes to self-worth, North Node in Pisces in your second house brings attention to kind of continuing to do that work. And so it could suggest that the next year and a half might be the time when your finances stabilize and improve. It can also be the time in which you start to prioritize more, but actually, like especially from the middle of the year. On June 9th, Jupiter, the ruler of your house of money, is going to go into Cancer, which is the sign of its exaltation. So be ready for like a financial boost if you are struggling with money from like June 9th and actually like a full year after that. But early in the year, it may be a little bit like not so great. But yeah, so eclipses, we're going to have a second lunar eclipse in Pisces, your second house, on September 7th. There are going to be eclipses in Virgo in March and September in your 8th house. And so Virgo is a draining energy because South Node is there, and Pisces is a gaining energy because North Node is there. And it feels like you're clearing your dependencies on others, you're clearing debts, you're letting go of even like old wounds and fears and doubts, and you're bringing all of that energy towards like creating financial stability, building your bank account up, and investing, also committing to projects that are creative, spiritual, and soulful. So there could also be a big priority shift where you're starting to direct attention towards creative and healing pursuits. Between May 24th and September 1st, Saturn will give us a taste test of what it is like to have it in Aries. If this is your natal Saturn, happy Saturn return. Neptune is also going to be in Aries between March and November, so there's a lot of focus on Aries. And Neptune might get you inspired, might bring like a new passion, a new skill, a new interest, a new dream that involves community, and then Saturn will come in and it will make you do the work, right? Saturn in the third might suggest that your schedule will speed up. You will need to commit to some kind of course of study. You will feel more pressure around speech and verbal output. It might be the time when you're having to learn a new language, or you're feeling like your words are heavier. And that's the feeling many of us know when we have to speak a new language, and it feels like like very difficult, especially in the beginning. So learning new things, navigating different languages, navigating maybe heavy writing, dealing with criticism, feedback from other people. Watch out for trying to do too much at once. Saturn is in its fall in Aries. And watch out for negative thinking, because Saturn in your third house will also encourage you to think happier and take ownership of what you're thinking and how your thoughts influence your reality. Jupiter is in your fifth house until June 9th, 2025, which is a great time for creative self-expression, playful energy. You're maybe enjoying making art and having a lot of new ideas, right? Uranus will enter on July 7th. It will enter Gemini, your fifth house, and will stay here until November 7th this year. And the next year it will enter for 6 years. But it's also like a sign that you're embracing independence and creativity and maybe choosing pursuits that are fun and sort of like athletic, even becoming a painter, a yoga teacher, an artist, a singer could be something that is represented by this. And then what I already mentioned is Jupiter entering your sixth house on June 9th to stay for a full year. This is an exalted Jupiter, so it suggests that you are definitely still busy, but you're working on things that you enjoy doing. You are investing in your health. Maybe you're learning about health. Maybe you're learning about exercise. Maybe you're working with family, or you're working on a family project. It's beneficial professionally for sure. It's also highly beneficial for your health, but watch out for overindulging and overeating. Please share how this resonates. Are you excited for the year to come? What was 24 like? And as always, if you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do relationship, natal, and predictive readings, and my year ahead readings are currently discounted. For the beautiful Pisces rising, I call this year as a year of stepping into the spotlight, right? Early in the year, you are recovering from Mercury retrograde. You may have Mercury was retrograde in your 10th house of career. You may have dealt with confusion, uncertainty, maybe questioned some of your professional pursuits. Saturn is in Pisces all year, right? It's in your first house. It has been in your first house since March 2023 and leaves permanently in February 2026. This year we get a bit of a reprieve between late May and September 1st, but it's still in your first house, so you're still very busy. You are overcoming some bad tendencies when it comes to your health. You're setting better boundaries. You're taking more responsibility professionally. You're maybe you're maybe finding yourself in a position of like having more power, more influence, and it feels a little bit challenging as you're trying to balance everything, especially maybe as you're trying to balance your goals that involve home, family, and living situation, because it's just, like the amount of time you have is so limited, and the amount of people that want your attention, it just keeps growing. So it may feel a little bit difficult. But North Node is going to shift into Pisces and South Node into Virgo on January 12th, 2025, and will stay here until July 2026. This is a repeat of the transit from 2006-2007. So please look back to see how has your personality changed? How has your health changed? Have you started something new in your life at that time? Have you gotten opportunities to be more visible, more known, more of a leader and an authority figure? So because you're entering this cycle right now. On February 27th, we have a new moon in Pisces, your first house, which offers a chance for new beginnings. And then we're also going to have a lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th, which might complete the new beginnings that got started at the time of the new moon. But on a sort of more general level, South Node being in Virgo in your 7th house, it brings change to your partnerships, like if you are in business with someone, right? South Node in the 7th might suggest you're releasing the business, or you are changing your role in the business. And with North Node in Pisces, you're prioritizing yourself. You're allowing yourself to dream. You're allowing yourself to take action and to be more center stage. Changes in romantic relationships are also possible. Changes in contractual agreements are quite likely. But North Node and these eclipses, the eclipse, take a look also at what was happening in your life in September 2024. We already had the first lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 17th, 2024. But they do offer you a chance to show up as a leader, right? Professionally, a leader in the family, as like a parent, a father, a mother. Your dreams, you're maybe kind of releasing the need for perfection romantically and professionally, and pursuing your dreams with more excitement, more open-mindedness. It's like an interesting transit where we are letting go of analysis paralysis and Virgo's need for perfection, or Virgo's attention on details, and allowing ourselves to leap and dream and sort of follow our goals. There's also a new moon. There's a full moon in Sagittarius in June, which might represent completion of a big professional chapter, and a new moon in Sagittarius in December, which occurs simultaneously with Venus being in Sagittarius. So this could bring recognition, rewards, better relationship with bosses, and maybe professional change, new opportunities. Between May 24th and September 1st, Saturn will be in your second house. Neptune also goes into your second house between March 30th and October 22nd. So be really careful with your spendings this year, especially from March until October, because Neptune and Saturn in the second can suggest that you're like becoming more chill about what you spend on, and you choose to spend on emotional, creative, spiritual objects. But with Saturn going here, especially from May 24th until September 1st, it may suggest that your income and the resources and the money available will be restricted for the next 3 years, right? But this year it's between late May and until August, basically, because it leaves on September 1st. And so this could be a transit where, for some reason, maybe you're making the same money, but your spending is more high. Maybe you just bought a house, and so you're paying that off. Maybe you feel like the amount of work has increased and you're not being compensated enough. It may be like a sense of, you're dealing with like a lack mentality, or you're worrying about finances, and chances are maybe everything is fine, right? And you're just expecting more than what the universe can offer you right now. And of course, be patient, have better boundaries, set some money aside, start sort of thinking about this transit early so it doesn't surprise you. Jupiter is in your fourth house from May 25th, 2024 until June 9th, 2025. It brings blessings through home, family. Maybe you're working for a family business. Maybe you're getting some kind of resources from the family. Maybe your home becomes your workplace, and it's just sort of happy, and you feel better that you're allowed to work from home. It's great. It could be a really great time if you work in real estate, property management, if you're a part of a family business, if you work with families, you may be getting a lot more resources from them. And then Jupiter enters your fifth house from June 9th, 2025 until June 30, 2026. And this is an exalted Jupiter, and this is your chart ruler, right? So this is beautiful for creative self-expression. No matter what you do professionally, you will find more ability to have a good time. So if you are a creative individual, this is really lovely, because it could be the time to write and to paint and to create and try to make money from that. It could also be my phone gave me a message. Well, the good news is we are almost done. But it could be the time when you are expressing yourself creatively at your job. Maybe you're collaborating with creative people. There are more sort of fun people coming into your life. And it is also a very fertile time. So for some of you, it can definitely be about children. And it's worth mentioning that Pluto is in your 12th house all year, right? So you are working through self-defeating tendencies, bad habits, and you're also feeling a strong sense of pressure to connect with your true authentic self. 12th house is our blind spot, and a lot of times our true interests and desires might be hiding in our blind spot. And so if there are things and parts of you that you haven't explored, 2025 might be the year to dive into yoga, meditation, imaginative pursuits, astrology, tarot, and give that side of you, or like Reiki healing, right? Whatever interests you, and give that part of you a chance to shine. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, your year ahead, your relationship reading. My year ahead consultations are actually discounted right now. You can save $20 off of the in-person one, or $40 off the recorded year ahead reading. That is in the shop section of my website. Information is in the description. Pick up my Jupiter in Taurus candle there too, because it's perfect for you guys as Jupiter ruled people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Definitely make sure you watch my love horoscope for 2025. And any other ideas you have, if there is other type of topic you'd like me to cover for 2025 or anything else, I am open, I am curious, and I love hearing your suggestions. And thank you again for all the lovely comments you send me. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll talk to you very soon. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Bye.